Good evening to you snooker fans. Welcome to episode 44, I believe, of the 15 Red podcast on this Easter Monday, the 5th of April 2021. And I'm joined this evening from Vancouver in the former Dominion of Canada
Yes.
by Mike.
Scott.
Good morning to you, Mike. How are you?
Very well. You?
Very well, thank you.
Are you and your almanac recovered from your day off yesterday?
Yes, well, apologies for taking the day off yesterday. It was Easter Sunday after all, so.
No problem. It was good. Good to see you back.
Yeah, nice to be back. We are going to talk a little bit about World Qualifying. We're not going to talk very much about tonight's big match, although we will touch on it because everything has sort of been said about it. But we'll touch on it, and we'll touch on today's results, which I think you've got for us to begin with, Mike.
I do, and I'll start from the top. Fenzei Z beat Zach Shorty 6-4. So
yes,
no centuries in the match. There was a 96 and a 58 by Fan, and Zach Shorty had a 71 break from the stats that I got.
yeah.
Oliver Lyons looked excellent against Dylan Emery, and he had a 125, a 122, a 134, a 93, and a 78. And the only frame Dylan won, he had 108. So a very, very good match. Good to watch. So,
very good to watch.
And then obviously it seemed like everyone was watching Andy Hicks and Rhiannon Evans, in which Andy won 6-2. But
yes,
by most accounts, wasn't the best match in the world. But I did not see it. So.
No, it wasn't. I saw bits and pieces of it and nothing to write home about, really. I suppose it was just put on the TV table because of, Rhiannon, basically. But Andy trying to fight for his tour place, and that leaves him pretty well placed, actually.
Yeah. The highest break in the match was a 69 by Andy in frame 7.
It was indeed, yes.
Rhiannon made a 65 in frame 5. So,
yeah.
And Rhiannon's average shot time was 28.3 seconds, which looks a little bit high.
Yes.
So
yeah.
maybe.
But again, difficult to make judgments on one match, as I said to you off air.
Very true. Yes, absolutely. But in some ways too, maybe top match. I mean, it's good that she's got the opportunity to play somewhere, but at the moment, anyway, it looks like she's a little bit outmatched. But that doesn't mean she can't improve, and
Yes, because as I said to you off air as well, she has rather outgrown the women's circuit. Probably she's won the world championship on the women's circuit 12 times.
Yes. Yeah. It's going to be a bit of a learning curve, I would say, because the jump up from the women's game to the world game, if you will, it looks like it's a bit of a jump.
Yes, the professional game.
Professional game, yeah, it looks like a bit of a jump. So, but nevertheless, she tried, and Andy was the better player on the day. Also, Yanbo won 6-3 against Ross Muir. So
yes,
not a surprise.
Who has the best nickname in snooker, actually? Ross Muir.
What is it?
Stenhouse, after a Scottish football team.
Is it really? I didn't know that. Very good. So, and there's a couple of matches I can see that are in progress. Sohail Vahedi.
Yes.
Sohail Vahedi's up 5-3 against Julian Clark, or Leclerc. And we got Jamie Wilson winning 6-0 over Barry Pinches. So not really a surprise
Yeah.
there, right?
That rather puts Barry's tour place under threat, I'm afraid.
Yep. I think he needed. Did he not have to win a round or two to secure a spot?
He did.
So yeah, as you say, he's in a little bit of trouble. And then Fraser Patrick 3, Leo Fernandez 3, still going on.
Yeah, three.
So that's
Three what did you say?
3-3 between Fernandez and Fraser Patrick.
Ah, yeah.
So that's the current state of affairs. I'll review it before we sign off. I'll run down the scoreboard before we're done.
Yes.
Also, yesterday there was four seniors qualified, I should say, for the seniors championship after the main world championships, and they were Lee Walker,
Yeah.
Phil Williams, Darren Morgan, and Patrick Wallace. So they are set to play in the 21 Seniors World Championship.
Yes, Patrick Wallace, who's won the Northern Ireland Amateur Championship 8 times.
Oh, okay. So has a good history of...
and did appear at the Crucible once in 2001.
Okay. So I guess 20 years later, he's going to be heading back on the senior circuit, but he's going back.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So why don't we go to your favorites here? We go back to the time machine. And we will...
Indeed. At this time, we are transporting ourselves back 14 years to 2007.
That is right. We are. And we see John Higgins win a pretty convincing win over Mark Selby.
Well, I wouldn't say 18-13 was all that convincing, but nonetheless.
Well, considering he was a qualifier, I guess it's not convincing, but yeah, I know what you mean. But anyway,
yeah.
What was Mark's road?
Mark's route to the final, if I can find his name, Stephen Lee 10-7.
Yep.
Less said of it in the better, as we say. Peter Ebden 13-8.
Peter Ebden 13-8, yep.
Then he beat Carter 13-12 in the quarterfinal.
Okay.
And then Sean Murphy 17-16 in a final frame decider in the semis.
Not bad at all. Pretty back-to-back deciders for John, and he won both. Oh, sorry, Mark.
For Mark, you mean? For Mark.
Yeah.
You got John's route there.
John's route was 10-8 over Michael Holt, 13-4 over Fergal O'Brien, 13-9 over Ronnie O'Sullivan, and 17-15 over Stephen Maguire. And in that one, I think Stephen Maguire was leading 14-10, and John
He was.
So he won 7 of the last 8 frames to advance to the final. So, session scores in the final, Scott.
5-3 John.
Yep.
12-4 John.
Yep.
12-10 John. They only played 6 because the time overran.
Okay.
And then one at 18-13.
Oh, okay. Not a bad run. Seemed like he was leading most of the way there. So
yeah. Although fair play to Selby going from 12-4 to 12-10.
Yes, that's a nice comeback. So John picks up 220 grand for winning. Mark picked up 110
Yeah.
grand, runner up. The prize fund was 941,000. Also, there was a high break of 144 by Ali Carter, and he got a prize for that.
Yes.
So, other notes, there was 5 centuries in the final, 3 by John and 2 by Mark. And between John and Mark for the tournament, they made 23 of the 68 centuries.
Yeah. You got the individual numbers there.
Individual. What do you mean? The actual breaks? I don't.
No, the two finalists' individual centuries numbers.
I don't have that on hand. Also, the referee was Arian Williams. So
Indeed, it was a Welshman.
Also, and maybe you know this better than I do. Was it not the longest gap between world titles for John?
Since Alex.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, yeah.
And that record would be broken then by Mark Williams. We'll get there eventually.
Yep. There was also 6 deciders in that.
Yeah, in that tournament.
Yeah. So, but overall, I thought, yeah, John was probably the better player, definitely of the final. But yeah, he was full value for winning the World Crown that year.
Yeah, he was.
So we move along from 07 and we move to 08, and Ronnie O'Sullivan and Ali Carter fight out for the World Crown.
The 2 maximum men.
The 2 yeah, exactly. That's an interesting fact about this final. So Ronnie ends up winning 18-8. So what was Ali's path?
Ali's route, let me see. Barry Hawkins 10-9.
Okay.
Then you've got Sean Murphy 13-9.
Correct.
And then Peter Ebdon 13-9. You made the maximum break in frame 15.
That was okay. Ali Carter makes a 147.
And then in the semi-final, an epic against Joe Perry 17-15.
Not bad at all. So Ronnie beats Chang 10-5.
Yeah.
Beats Mark Williams 13-7, and he makes a 147 in frame 20.
To win the match.
To win the match, yep. Liang Wenbo 13-7 in the quarters, and Stephen Hendry 17-6 in the semis. So
just let that sink in for a moment. He beat Stephen Hendry 17-6.
Yep. That's impressive for sure. Even though Stephen was on the downside of his career, that's still impressive.
Yeah. And by the way, in frame 1 of that match, Stephen made a break of 140.
Oh yeah? Wow, impressive. So the session scores were. Do you have them?
Yeah, 6-2 to Ronnie.
Okay.
11-5 Ronnie.
Okay.
16-8 Ronnie.
Yep. And he won the last 2 frames.
And then he won the last 2 frames at night. You got the centuries and money and.
Yeah. So Ronnie picked up 250 grand. Ali picked up 125. It's the first time that the high break and the 147 were split. So they each picked up 75.8 grand each for having a 147 and the high break.
78,500.
Yes, 78,500. And they each made 1 century in the final. So Ronnie made a 106,
yep.
Ali 104. 63 centuries for the tournament. Ronnie made 12, Ali made 6, so they made 18 of the 63. And Jan Verhaas was the referee in the final.
Yeah.
So,
Did we get the decider number for 08?
deciders, yeah, we had deciders. There were a total of 6 deciders for the tournament. Same as 07.
Yeah. Calvin Plattern says, hi, lads. Hello, Calvin.
Hi, Calvin. So, yeah, that covers 08. Ronnie again wins by that same 18-8 scoreline. That's a popular one he wins by.
Yes, well, he's won half his finals, 18-8.
Yeah.
This 2004 against Dot, this one, and last year.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. It's very true. So, okay, so we go from 08, we go to the last one we'll cover today, and that will be 09.
By the way, I should say before we get to 2009, my trivia question for today is this. John Higgins has won the world title 4 times. In which of the 4?
4 finals.
In which of the 4 did he concede most frames? I said least to you off air. I'm going to change it now to most.
Okay, and you're going to reveal the answer tomorrow?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So the question again, in which of his 4 world finals did John Higgins concede most frames?
All right, so that's...
The 4 he's won, by the way.
So that is for tomorrow, the answer.
Yes.
So John plays Sean Murphy in the final, and he wins 18-9.
Yes, this is John's 3rd.
Yep. So
and Sean Murphy's route.
Yep.
If we can get it here. Sean's route, let me see. Where is it? Andrew Higginson 10-8.
Yep.
Andrew Higginson 10-8. In the second round, Marco Fu 13-3.
Yep.
In the quarters, Stephen Hendry 13-11, despite Hendry making a maximum break in frame 7 to go 5-2 in front.
Okay.
And then in the semi-final, Sean Murphy beat Neil Robertson 17-14.
Oh, okay. All right. That's pretty good. So I will read out John's road. He beat Michael Holt 10-6. Jamie Cope 13-12 in a very very good match. He beats Mark Selby 13 in the quarterfinal, and he beats one of your favorites, Mark Allen, 17-13 in the semi-final.
Yes, well, the local lad, of course.
Exactly. So, do you have the session scores of that final?
Yes, 4-0.
Okay.
11-5 John.
Yep.
16-8 John.
Okay.
And he wins 18-9.
So, very impressive display again by John. Very
good.
Very convincing. So, some other tidbits from that event and the final as well. Stephen Hendry won his 1000th frame at the Crucible. So
he did.
That takes some comprehending as well. There were 83 centuries, which is the most. It became the record.
Yes.
Stephen Hendry makes a 147.
Which is the most, we should say most up until this point it has been.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And Stephen Hendry makes a 147 in a losing effort against Sean Murphy.
Yeah.
So John
Becoming only the second player to do that after O'Sullivan in 2003 against Margot Foot.
Yeah, correct. And there was 83 centuries. John made 11. Sean makes 10. And John puts 250,000 for winning. Sean gets 125,000. And the prize fund was 1.1 million. So also
and Stephen gets 157 for the maximum.
Correct. Yep, he certainly did. And it's also the first time where they've had consecutive 147s from year over year. So there was one obviously in 08.
Yes.
And then 09 there was
2 in 08.
2 in 08, 1 in 09. First time it's ever happened on consecutive years. So
yes, indeed.
Yeah. And Michaela Tabb, the lovely and talented Michaela Tabb, was the referee.
Yes.
So that anything else?
First female to referee a world final, of course.
Absolutely, yes. So yeah, that was a good tournament as well. All things being said.
Yeah. And of course, in the second round, there was a bit of a controversial refereeing decision, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Between Mark Selby and Graham Dutt,
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Alan Chamberlain made a bit of kerfuffle.
Well, I would argue that Alan Chamberlain was exactly right, because what happened was, those who remember will recall that there was an obvious foul going to take place.
Yep.
Because the white was going towards the pocket. So Graham Dutt sort of clenched his fist.
Yep.
Like underneath the pocket to sort of stop the cue ball from going in off. But Alan Chamberlain gave him the foul anyway.
Right.
Because his hand had touched the cue ball.
Mm-hmm.
So the foul was there anyway. And then Selby assumed that he had the ball in hand, but of course he didn't.
No.
Not
Correct.
according to the rules anyway, because the cue ball hadn't actually left the bed of the table.
Yep.
So in fact, whenever Selby went to pick the cue ball up,
yeah,
Alan Chamberlain called a foul on him.
Yeah, that's right. And I guess there was a little bit of a dispute by Selby, and some of the people, I guess, in the audience were not buying it. But looking back on that, he is right. The referee was correct, because the ball doesn't leave the table.
Yeah.
Like a normal foul, and then it should have been played from where it was. So
yes, of course.
In hindsight, his ruling was correct.
Yeah. Well, Alan Chamberlain did professionally referee for over 25 years at that point, so you're not going to argue with him.
No, agreed. That was, I just remember at the time it was a bit of a strange scenario. You don't see that one too often.
Yeah. Well, you don't see somebody trying to stop the end off with their fist.
No, that's very true as well. Because I guess what his point is, you kind of assume it's going in the pocket. It's just like fouling any ball, really. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But yeah, that was an interesting event or happening in that tournament. So
Indeed it was.
All right. So tomorrow we will start with 2010. So we're getting closer and closer to the best part.
By the way, Kelly's just texted it, or Kelly's just put underneath it, Kelly Barker here, and she said, this year has its first decider.
Yes. Are you talking about the scores?
Yes, Vahidi and Leclerc.
5-5. Yes, they are just starting the decider. Correct. So,
yeah.
I think Leclerc was down 5-3, so he's won the last two. So
he has.
Interesting stuff. So
you got the other scores there just while we're on an update.
Let's have a quick look again. I see 4. Let's have a look. Fraser Patrick 4, Leo Fernandez 4, 5-5.
Yeah.
Gao Yang 5-3 over Paul Davison currently. So,
so
those are the 3 matches I can see still going on.
Yeah, those are the only matches going on because now we're waiting for the big one.
Yes, I can see that. So, are you pumped up for that? Are you excited for it?
Yeah, well, yes, of course. Any snooker fan that's not excited by this match isn't really a snooker fan.
Very true. Agreed with you on that.
I mean, Hendry and White is it's like Federer, Nadal almost.
Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Don't know about that, but
Del Boy and Rodley.
Yeah. Cannon and Ball. Anyway.
Yes.
Yes.
Workman Ways.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many analogies we could go with that, but I think I see on our poll we put up, Jimmy was winning 73-67. So seems like Jimmy's the popular favorite, but it's going to be a close one.
But then again, are you surprised at Jimmy being the fan's choice?
No, not at all. Not at all. In fact, I'm surprised it's as close as it is, to be honest with you, because he was always a fan favorite. So,
yeah. Do you think that's what hampered him?
Yeah, I think he tried so hard to succeed and to please people and to win that he put so much pressure on himself that it became really, really difficult for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's he's definitely the best player to never win a world crown, like by a landslide.
Yeah.
Like just one crown. We're not even talking multiple like John or Ronnie or Stephen, or just one. I mean, to think that Sean Murphy and Neil Robertson have and Jimmy never did. That's a little bit surprising.
I know.
So
I know. But nonetheless,
we hope he does well. We'll be watching for sure. Do you?
Yeah, well, believe it or not, Jimmy's actually fighting for his tour card.
Yeah, he's got a lot to play for in these qualifiers. I mean, he needs to keep his tour card. So
yeah.
But do you think there will be a century tonight? By either
Well, he'll probably get a discretionary wild card, even if.
Yeah, they'll work a way around it somehow. But speaking of the match, do you expect a century, and do you expect a good match?
I don't mean to spoil everybody's enjoyment.
Oh.
But I can sort of see it being a bit of a damn squibbing 6-3 either way, really.
So you're not your expectation of the match is not like super high.
No, because first of all, Stevens played one match in 9 years.
Well, okay, all right. competitive match.
And then Jimmy hasn't qualified for 14 years, for nearly 15 years.
Well, the qualifying part is it doesn't matter because we're talking just specifically about this match. So they had played at the seniors, which Jimmy won.
Yeah, and Stephen won that, but
No, I think Jimmy won the seniors. Did he not? 2000.
he did.
Yeah. I think Steve last.
Kelly's teasing me now.
Oh.
She said, "Oh, Scott, surely 5 centuries the maximum."
Oh yeah, that would be funny, huh? But
wishful thinking, Kelly. Wishful thinking, I think.
So
look. There might be one, but I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't one either.
Yeah, I know I asked that with Graham yesterday. He seemed convinced that there would be one. I'm not convinced there will be one. Like the standard of play is not going to be like sky high, but I would imagine it'll be a good match. There, I do believe that they want to put on a good show. I think because it might be the last time they play each other. Probably. Will.
Yeah, because like it's been hyped to high heaven.
Yeah, it has. There's no doubt about that. So, all right.
So you hope it doesn't end up a 6-0.
Yeah. I don't think it's that, but I know what you're saying. You don't want it to be like too one-sided. So
I know.
I got a question for you, just a kind of before we put a lid on it here. So
yes,
with Amiri withdrawing for personal reason, whatever reason he has, do you think replacements should be at the beginning of tournaments as opposed to these walkovers?
Look, in the present situation with COVID, the walkovers are probably needed, right? But generally, yes, people should be replaced.
Okay, so if they know ahead of time, say Amiri knows he's not going to be able to make it, at the very beginning of qualifying, you know that spot now become, instead of a walkover, don't you think it would be in the best interest to give somebody else an opportunity to qualify?
Well, then again, yes, I do agree in that context, but with COVID, you see the testing and things, you know, if somebody like gets there, wants to enter, and then are withdrawn because they test positive.
But I still think it's the same thing, especially at the beginning of an event, the beginning of a tournament. If someone cannot make it for whatever reason it is, it should get they should have like a group of players that just missed, or like based on ranking or whatever. They should get a shot at it. Somebody shouldn't just
because they've used Q School top-ups in previous tournaments, so it seems somewhat strange that they're just giving walkovers, but nonetheless.
Yeah, it just seems if they should have a standard for all the tournaments, like a set procedure. If they do it for other tournaments, they should do it for this. Walkovers, I understand in the middle of an event, i.e. Ali Carter at the Welsh Open, he withdrew because he wasn't feeling well against Ronnie O'Sullivan. That was they were supposed to meet in the quarterfinals or something. Do you remember that?
Semis, I think.
Semi-final. So in tournament where progress has been made, then of course the walkover tool should be used. But at the beginning of qualifying like this, and they probably should confirm, you know, a couple of days in advance of their playing.
Well, Kelly's just brought up a point there. Surely Jamie Curtis Barrett could have got there. He's only an hour away. Seems very unfair on him.
Well, that's the point we're making, and also from a consistency standpoint, if you use the same outline for every single tournament, regardless of what it is, then
it does seem rather unfair. It does seem rather unfair.
Yeah. So hopefully, I don't know what the how they make changes or even have conversations, but they should at least look at consistency issues.
If anybody's got Ken Doherty's number, because Ken's been elected as chairman of the New Players Commission, if anybody's got Ken's number, give him a ring, will you?
Yeah, exactly. And it's in everyone's best interest because it's going to affect someone else down the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So not just for this particular event. It should be for every event. And a set. So, but yeah, I think that should
right.
cover.
Well, I know I had a trivia question for everyone earlier, but I'm gonna fire a few out at you now, mate, because we haven't done that for a while. So I'm gonna fire a few at you before we sign off.
And this can't be very good, but anyway.
I'm gonna fire a few at you before we sign off.
Okay, so yeah, give me a couple trivia, and I'll give you a lock, no lock. How's that? Deal?
Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Right. We've covered the 2006 one 2 days ago.
All right.
But what unusual happening took place in the Hendry and Bond match? Can you remember?
Hendry and Bond match. Unusual happening. You've got me.
A re-spotted black in the deciding free.
Oh yeah, we probably mentioned that, but my memory's not so good. But yeah, that was what 2006. You said?
It was, yes.
Okay. All right.
Right. Name the last defending champion to go out in the first round.
Name the last defending champion to go out in the first round. John Parrott.
No.
Who is it?
Mark Selby in 2018.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize he went out in the first round. I knew he won it in 17, but I didn't know he got beaten. Who beat him in the first round?
Joe Perry it was.
Oh, yeah. Wow, very good. So, yeah, I told my trivia is not the strongest. So
no, well, I just sort of I sprung those on you rather unfairly.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got them even if I had if we had said it off air. I don't think I would have got it, to be honest. So,
well, those were fairly recent.
Oh no, they were absolutely, but like I say, my memory's not super strong with trivia.
Yeah. Right. These lock, no lock to finish off then.
So yeah, to wrap this thing up, I did with Graham yesterday. I'm just curious to know what you think. There'll be one qualifier in the quarterfinal at the World Championships.
No lock.
No lock, he says. There'll be at least one well, we covered this, but we'll give you a chance. There'll be at least one century in the White Hendry match tonight.
No lock.
No lock. Judd Trump will make the most centuries at the World Championship this year.
I'm going to say no lock purely because it's not guaranteed.
No, I'm going to say lock, but I expect him to have a deep run. And
yeah,
the more frames you play, the more chances are. So I went with a lock on that, more so than any other player anyway.
Yeah.
And,
he probably will, but it's never guaranteed. I never like predicting things like that. So.
And the class of 92 will all make it to the last 16.
So they'll all win their first round matches. Lock.
Yeah, I'm saying lock on that one as well. So that will cover that. Any parting shots before we wrap this thing up?
Where are we? How many are we doing tomorrow? 2010 to.
Well, if we're covering a lot of the qualifying as well, then I would suggest maybe 3 again, because it
10, 11, 12.
10, 11, yeah, sorry. 3 tournaments, 10, 11, and 12. Yes, correct.
So join us for that. I assume tomorrow.
I just quickly read the final scores.
Yes.
The match going on. So it's 5-5 for Haiti and Leclerc. Leclerc's got a 55 to 1 point lead currently in the decider.
Yeah.
Fraser Patrick 4, Leo Fernandez 4, and Gao Yang 6, Paul Davison 3. So Gao Yang's
3.
That's it. That's everything.
And that will do us for the evening. So join us tomorrow for 3 more finals and more qualifying.
And Stephen Hendry, Jimmy Wyatt breakdown. We'll break that thing down.
Indeed, yes.
Excellent. Good stuff, Scott. See you, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.